I see those big, bright, shiny red trucks just a-trucking down the road. Those big, bright, shiny red trucks just a-looking for another load. Well, it's a family tradition, any Rocky Mountain day. Our fathers before us showed us the way. We worked for asphalt cowboys and concrete kings, but that's never been a problem, because we got diesel in our veins. We've got diesel in our veins. I see those big, bright, shiny red trucks.
What's up, JFW family? Welcome back to the Channel 23 podcast. The purpose of this podcast is to reach out and touch the fleet, to engage and inform everyone with all things JFW. Good morning, Jim White, Brother Dave White, and Super Dave Weldon.
Hi, everybody.
Morning, everybody.
Happy podcast day. Good morning.
You guys got your boots strapped on? Because it's going to be a wild ride.
I'm
ready.
definitely strapped up boots after that wind last night.
All right. I got home last night and my flag was like folded in half and like just stuck up. So I had to take it down and shake it out. It was weird.
Because of the wind.
Yeah, the wind just like,
Yeah.
So my bottom clip is on a deal. It's like a sleeve that moves up and down.
Right.
It was just shot up and got stuck up there. So the flag was folded perfectly in half long ways.
Wow.
It was cool.
Last time I had wind like that, I lived at the other house and I had a flagpole in the front yard, and it woke up the next morning and it was laying on the ground. It broke the flagpole right off.
Oh,
Yeah, it was crazy.
mine's aluminum and it bent one year and I just had to cut that section off. So
Wow.
it's about 3 feet shorter than it was. But
Well, at least it happened at that height, so you could fix it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that was a weak point because it's
Yeah.
in concrete. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? But yeah, it was like 21 feet. So now it's like, 18.
It was just funny, Jim. The way you started, I was expecting you to roll into your dad joke.
That's what I thought. I'm
I
like,
mean, I was
it's
just like,
dad
you
joke
caught
all
me
the
off
time?
guard.
Wait a
Like,
minute,
oh,
we didn't
he's
say
talking
trucker
about the wind
prayer
in his
yet.
flag. I was waiting for the dad joke, the little suck-in line you always have.
Joke's on you.
Hell, that could be your dad joke.
But I'm done.
Reeled one in. You hooked Dave.
All right, let's say the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Father God, we thank you for the opportunity to go out and do some trucking today. Pray for the safety of our fleet, all their families, and all the other families and individuals we come across on the road today. We pray for patience and in making the good, safe decisions. We pray to be accident-free and that we all make it back to the comforts of our home this evening. We pray for healing and 100% recovery for all of our family members that are ill. No matter what, we trust you, God, and it's in Jesus' name we pray.
Amen.
Amen.
All right. Let's see here. Episode, well, as a reminder, anything we say on today's podcast is just our expressed opinion. Episode 172 had 313 downloads, so a little bit of an uptick there. We have 90.7 thousand total downloads and 708 followers.
Outstanding.
Now, we haven't done this in a while, but
I saw that. I was shocked at the numbers, Jim.
yeah, and there's more, but I just figured I'd stop it at four listens per
Okay.
country. So around the world, since the beginning of 2025, Singapore has had 56 downloads,
That's crazy.
Canada 19, Australia 18, the Ukraine 14. I mean, people are at war listening to this podcast. Germany had 10, Japan 9, Israel 6, Switzerland 4, Denmark 4, Mexico 4. I thought we would add more in Mexico. And then New Zealand 4 as well.
Mhm.
There's a lot of 3s and 2s in there as well, but I just stopped it at 4 listens.
Yeah.
It could be bots. I don't know, but it's pretty interesting.
I know
That
you,
is interesting.
you could think one or two is an accident or trying to look at what the channel was about or whatever.
Right.
But when you're at 56 or 19 or 18, I mean,
Right.
Right.
that's a few listens.
Exactly.
Just think if we were any good.
I didn't know trucking was that big a thing in Singapore.
Right.
Is that an island? Is Singapore an island?
I don't even know, Dave.
I just know it's Asian.
I know Canada's a 51st state.
I was teasing Dave. I wonder what language they listen to it in Canada.
Well, what about Singapore? If you want to talk about a language,
Right.
right?
I want to jump right into some trucking stuff. Okay. What does a yellow light on a traffic signal mean?
Caution.
Go faster.
Yield.
What?
You need to stop.
Stop. Yellow light means stop.
Well, you need to, it's going to go red. You need to stop. That's my 2 cents.
And how do you stop?
You stop. What kind of trick question is that? Step on the brakes.
Well, my dad joke didn't work. You're supposed to say slow down.
Gotcha.
What does a yellow light on a traffic signal mean?
You're supposed to slow down.
What does the yellow... I'm slowing down. Get it?
Wow.
Boo! Boo! All right. It's time for the dad joke challenge.
I have to say, Jam, that's about your worst. you usually crush it.
I just PR'd. It's my personal record.
Oh,
funny.
That is great.
I'm going to jump in there because, like, I stumbled on one that was about 9. So I'm going to read them. The first several are pretty much extremely wife slandering. And I want to preface this with, like, I love my wife. This has nothing to do with her, but I think the jokes are kind of funny. So while watching Who Wants to Be a Millionaire in bed, I turn to my wife and ask, "Do you want to have sex?" Without even glancing my way, she replies, "No." I said, "Is that your final answer?" She said, "Yes." And she said firmly. I said, "All right, then I'd like to phone a friend." And that's when the fight began. We went out to a restaurant, and the waiter took my order first. "I'll have the rump steak rare," I said. He raised an eyebrow and asked, "Aren't you worried about the mad cow disease?" "Nah," I replied. "She can order for herself."
Ooh,
And that's
That
when
one's
the
low.
fight began.
damn.
At her high school reunion, my wife couldn't stop staring at a drunken man at a nearby table. "Do you know him?" I asked. "Yes," she sighed. "He's my old boyfriend. I hear he started drinking right after we broke up and hasn't been sober since." I said, "Wow, you knew someone who could celebrate that long?" And that's when the fight began.
Look at him. He's still celebrating.
So when my lawnmower broke, my wife kept hinting I should fix it, but I always had other priorities. One day I came home to find her in the yard cutting the grass with a tiny pair of sewing scissors. I watched for a moment, then silently went into the house. When I returned, I handed her a toothbrush and said, "When you're done, you might as well sweep off the driveway too."
And that's when the fight began.
And that's when the fight began. My wife sat next to me as I was flipping through channels. "What's on TV?" she asked. "Dust," I replied. And that's when the fight began. One Saturday, I got up early to go fishing, but heavy rain and wind forced me to cancel. I quietly undressed and slipped back into bed, cuddling up to my wife. "Terrible weather out there," I whispered. Without turning around, she replied, "Can you believe my idiot husband went out fishing in this?" And that's when the fight began. For our anniversary, my wife hinted she wanted something shiny that could go from 0 to 150 in seconds. I bought her a bathroom scale. And that's when the fight began.
I've heard that one before.
I went to apply for Social Security. I realized I had forgotten my ID. The clerk asked me to unbutton my shirt, and when she saw my silver chest hair, she said, "That's proof enough," and processed my application. Excitedly, I told my wife the story when I got home. She said, "You should have dropped your pants. They may have even given you disability then."
Yeah.
And that's when the fight began. One morning, my wife stood in front of the mirror, unhappy with her reflection. "I feel old, fat, and ugly," she said. "I need a compliment." I replied, Your eyesight is perfect." And that's when the fight began.
Oh, man.
This morning, I rear-ended another car. The driver got out, and it turned out to be a dwarf. He glared at me and said, "I'm not happy." So I asked, "Well, which one are you then?" And that's when the fight began. And then here's the last one. One Christmas, I bought my mother-in-law a cemetery plot as a gift. The next year, I didn't get her anything. When she asked why, I said, well, you haven't used last year's gift yet. And that's when the
Ouch.
fight began.
Ouch.
Damn.
That's all I got.
Oh, man.
Those are
Super.
good.
You want to go or you want me?
Yeah, I can uplift a little bit more now.
You're not going to do the fight?
No slander here. Just good old riddles. What do lawyers wear to court?
Oh,
Lies.
brief something.
Lies.
Lawsuits.
Oh, yeah.
Good one.
What do sprinters eat before a race?
Pop-Tarts.
Hurdles or I don't know.
Hurdles, dude.
Nothing. They fast.
They fast. Oh, man.
That's
All
awesome.
right. One more. This one is probably old. What is Forrest Gump's password?
Run, Forrest, run.
Yeah.
One
Forrest,
Forrest,
one.
one. Yes, you guys got it. Good job. So there you go.
Oh,
Good old
man.
riddles.
Those were good, guys. Well, everybody's at church. Sunday morning, the pastor looks out through the congregation and goes, does anybody have anybody that you'd like us to pray over? Susan stood up, walked to the podium. She said, 2 months ago, my husband, Phil, had a terrible bicycle accident and his scrotum was crushed. There was a muffled gasp from the men in the congregation. Phil was unable to hold me or the children, she went on, and every move caused him terrible pain. We prayed as the doctors performed a delicate operation, and they were able to reconstruct the crushed remnants of Phil's scrotum, using wire to reinforce its shape. The men in the congregation cringed and squirmed uncomfortably. Now, she announced in a quivering voice, thank the Lord. Phil is out of the hospital, and the doctors say that within time, his scrotum should recover completely. All the men sighed with relief. The pastor rose again and asked if anyone else had something to say. A man stood up and walked slowly to the podium. He said, I'm Phil. The entire congregation held its breath. I just want to tell my wife the word is sternum.
I love it.
That's good.
That's great.
All right. New employees. We got, well, not a new employee, but new to the fleet, Marco Gutierrez. Marco was wash bay, and then he was a mechanic, and now he's a driver. That story sounds familiar because he's also best friends with Dustin Jr.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yep.
Love to see the guys that are accomplishing their dreams.
Yep.
I don't want to say moving up because mechanics are great too, but if that's what they want to do is drive, fantastic. It's good stuff.
Some of my best friends are mechanics. Julio Sands and Chase Lester also started this past Monday.
I'm sure you've asked that. No relation?
Nope.
Yeah, they're like 25th cousins.
Well, that's what they always say. They might be related.
You never know.
Hey, is that your cousin? He might be.
Also, Marty Rios.
Yeah, we were just talking about that. I had that in my note too.
Marty Rios.
Marty Rios.
So that's cold, bud.
Hi, Marty.
Hi, Marty.
Welcome back, Marty. And Marty is working with Scooby a couple days a week.
Yeah.
2 days a week. Yep.
Yeah, needed to get out of the house and
We needed
Keep
somebody.
working.
We needed
Do
somebody
something.
to supervise Scooby.
yeah, that's true. That's true.
There we go.
Hi, Scooby.
We definitely needed somebody to help us get this place cleaned up.
Shout out to Scooby for being awesome.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anniversaries. We got Georgi Lalashvili and Brent Carter celebrated 1 year yesterday. And Mike Cisneros is hitting 2 years on Saturday.
Congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations, you guys.
Yeah, awesome, guys.
Yep.
Yeah.
Birthdays, we got Christian Salazar. His birthday is on Friday the 21st. And then family birthday celebrations, we got Lola Romero. That's Dustin's daughter. Her birthday is also Friday the 21st.
Happy
Wow.
birthday, Lola.
Kind of not many birthdays. I'm shocked.
No, was a slow 9 months ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's those June weddings.
That's what
March
it is.
babies. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was closer to. No, you're right, Dave. Yep. June babies.
All right, shout outs. Matt Cummins wants to give a shout out to Scooby for popping the locks on his car. Wonder where Scooby learned how to do that.
They had a rough teenage years.
Huh. And then I got a really nice shout out from Valentino Bailey. Good evening, Jam. Been out sick the last 2 days, but want to let you know I completed the podcast challenge for this last week.
Good job, Valentino.
Yeah,
Yep.
thank you.
I wanted to thank you and Scooby for asking if I was okay and or needed help in completing it. Shout out to you, Scooby, and your entire family for never giving up on each other and noticing the small things. JFW is the best company I've ever worked for. Wanted to be a part of the team for a long time, and it's been great ever since. Again, thank you. See you soon, man.
Awesome.
Nice shout out. Thank you, Tino.
Yep. That's why we do it, guys.
Yeah.
Yesterday was a little bit of a rough day around here. And, to finish the day off with that shout out, somebody that appreciates JFW and can notice the difference in what we do to compare it to some other companies. It's super meaningful.
That's
you're gonna find out we're different. And that's what we've wanted to be but different is hard. I mean, we've all talked about that. You can follow in the mainstream and just do like everybody else, sheeps, but to stand out, you got to be different, and it takes being different.
And sometimes to be different, you just got to do the right thing.
Yeah, it's definitely the right thing, because that's what stands out. I mean, I don't know.
Yep.
We talk about it. We do, High Road Hollands. We do the final thoughts, all that kind of stuff, and it's a struggle. I know, the CPA was in here, David, and we talk about his business, and he shares a little bit about his clients. Nothing personal, but just the struggles they're going through, and
it's Social Security numbers and bank accounts. Right?
yeah. Thanks, David. Going to invest that money, but just everybody. He felt there's kind of a little bit of cloud over everybody right now because the indecision of where we're going. And maybe that's
I don't want to interrupt your sidetrack you, Jim, so I apologize for interrupting you, but he had a great word, and uncertainty.
Uncertainty. There's some uncertainty.
A lot of feel of uncertainty right now.
Indecision. I mean, we get, and whether, again, we were voting for Trump, and is he the right guy? Well, we're going to see. Did something need to change? Absolutely. And hopefully we'll find out together, but that's what America does.
I don't watch the news, so I feel pretty certain.
Good.
Yeah.
Because that's another thing that's our own. We're swayed by that, right? All of that. It's not social media is. It's a giant of a mess to me.
Yeah, you really become what you consume, don't you?
Yeah, Dave. You just can't.
And you choose what you consume. Do you listen to this left-leaning report or the right-leaning report, right?
Yeah.
And then you listen to more and more and more of that, and then you become what you consume.
Yeah.
I just, only because we're talking about it, and I'm totally getting off in the weeds, but only because Sam's been home this week for spring break, and he's been, swimming with the club that he used to swim with here. So he brought one of his buddies home for dinner last night, and we were sitting there talking, and his buddy's off for spring break, and he's like, I have $14 in my bank account. And he's like, I need to work this week. And luckily his neighbor hires him. And I'm like, oh, what do you do for him? And he's like, I watch videos on my phone for 8 hours a day. I'm like, James, you do what? And he's like, yeah, I'm supposed to do paperwork. But he goes, that's boring. So he said, no one pays attention to what I'm doing. So I just sit there watching videos. And I'm like, really? And I said, I've teased Sam or accused him. I said, you can't even listen to a full song. You get so distracted. You can't listen to a song for 1 minute and 45 seconds without changing it. And James was like, dude, I have so many favorite songs. And he said halfway through, I'm like, oh, I'm bored. I got to go to the next song. And, that's, I think the social media and the phones, and I think we're going to talk about phones on some other topics here later, but man, they've created that. And then the social media platforms, the kids of today, and my son's no different. I mean, he won't listen to a full song, and that just blows me away.
It has to do with like these little shots of dopamine.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Jim.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm starting to, because he made the comment, he's like, my wife brought up, are we going to keep TikTok? Because there for a while, like Trump was going to ban it. And I mean, he talked about it, and I think he did he do it for a day or something like that? And then kept it
a few hours.
It shut down.
Yeah. Anyway.
And lately though, Dave, there's talk about the Chinese selling American TikTok to somebody else.
Yeah. But
He wants to get paid on it.
well, yeah, right. Yeah, Trump does. But anyway, James is like, the best thing I could do, he said, I just need to eliminate TikTok off my phone, and he goes, I think that would help. But he's like, it's become a habit now, and it was nice, good, honest information. And we were having a great discussion. And I love the fact that they're just kids and they can, they're sitting there talking to Janet and I like adults telling us their, I don't want to say issues. It's not like they were airing baggage by any means.
Addictions.
Truthfulness, right?
Right.
Yeah, absolutely, Jam. Yeah. So kind of interesting. I mean, that's just, some paths we didn't have when we were young. And it makes me think, God, the way I'm addicted to it, would I have done the things as a kid that I got to do, and there's a big difference. Our society is a little different because of it, for sure.
All the outside stuff, all the bike riding, all that other stuff, because of, so many games, the platforms, all that kind of stuff. Because TikTok was shut off one day, when that deal went on. And I just happened to try to look at it when it was shut off. I cleaned it off my phone.
Yeah.
I don't have TikTok anymore, but the TikTok, when you say dopamine, Jam, that's like, it's a TikTok for your brain. It's TikTok. TikTok. Because you just swipe, and it's that quick. Because look at how many, on TikTok or Instagram, it's the greatest clips out of like movies.
Right.
And you watch that clip of that movie. I've seen the movie.
Right.
I know the clip, but it's such a good clip.
Yeah.
But that's that great description. It's that high, that quick. Oh, that's the best one. That's the best one. That's the
the shorts. What I mean? Like whatever you're into, the algorithms, cater to you.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's like, you get to see exactly what you want real quick, and then
Yeah, I mean, I can sit here and brag all I want that, I don't have TikTok on my phone. That doesn't stop me from watching the reels on Facebook or YouTube. It's the same exact thing.
Instagram, that's what I
I mean, it's the same exact thing. It's just not TikTok, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's just a lot to be said about the times we're in and have been, right?
Yeah, but does that teach you, like, when you have to concentrate on something, just like changing for the songs and different stuff like that you just can't focus very long? Like if you have to focus at work or, I mean, like I kind of look at Joanne, she's got to process payroll.
Yeah.
I mean, concentrate on that all day.
Right. One of the things that I thought of, Jim, and to me, I'm barking it more into your free time. And I guess what I mean by that is, I can sit down and I can lose an hour on my phone just scrolling through shit, right? And I'm not thinking about anything. Right? Where in all the years past, you have that 30 minutes or 10 minutes or an hour, and you're like, I got to get this done, or I need to do that, and you achieve things, right? You're not just wasting time on that phone.
I need to decompress and watch videos.
Exactly, Jam. And I'm trust me, I'm not sitting here. I'm guilty. Like, I am guilty. It's tough. I gotta do something about it myself just to change. But that's one of the things that I thought about. Like, at my age, when I was their age is what I'm trying to say. Like, I didn't have that ability. I was like, I got homework to do, or I have to get this done, or, it makes you think
wash the car, mow the lawn, or whatever our chores were.
Yeah.
Cause the other thing, Jam, and I know you try to work out and do all your stuff. Look at the time spent that you could, or look at the time you spend looking at TikTok or whatever, that you could, do some sit-ups, do some push-ups, go for a walk, go for a run, anything.
Right.
And you just like, what would that do for you compared to watching that video?
I mean, you just watch the videos in between your sets. I don't know how we got on this subject.
Yeah, we got off in the weeds, didn't we?
Do you guys have any shout outs?
Oh, I don't. Well, we joked earlier about what our shout outs were, but yeah, that's
I do. I have a couple of them, and only because I looked ahead in the podcast outline here. I want to give a shout out to Armando Duvall, and because I think he wrote a killer tips and tricks.
Yeah.
I hope after he did this one that he can continue, and take Ray Ray's place. That would.
What was so awesome about it is it was unsolicited.
Right.
Like, I didn't say, hey, Mondo. He said, hey, can I write something? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
And
mean, isn't that outstanding?
we'd encourage anybody else to do the same.
Yes.
But make sure it's well thought out. Make sure it's not a bitch session.
Positive.
It's tips and tricks.
Yep.
I haven't looked if he's updated his profile pic because I know
He has not, but you could tell
Well,
it's him.
I'm going to joke because of the tips and tricks that he wrote. It's because of his age and wisdom.
That's awesome.
I do know a couple people have asked Erica about updating their
Pics.
picture
Yeah.
in Connect.
Yeah,
And she was going to write out some.
it's come out.
It has it? Okay.
She literally just did it.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. Because she asked me about it. And I'm like, we'll send it out if people want to
Yeah.
change it,
And then my other shout out is to Troy Holmes. He helped a fellow driver yesterday that was having some physical problems and drove the truck back here with that person in it. And that person wound up taking an ambulance ride. So I think everything wound up being okay. But, shout out to Troy, man. He was looking out for family and
Absolutely.
and lives and protecting the house all at the same time. And I mean, he did it just like Armando with no one asking.
Yep.
Right.
Just driving him back to Central yesterday, we talked about it a little bit. And hey, man, if we got somebody down, everything's going to stop.
Right.
Yeah. We'll
Mm-hmm.
figure out the powder later. We'll
Yes.
figure out the load.
Yep.
We'll figure it out. This person needs help now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome shout out, brother. Dave.
Yeah. Yeah. Good job, Troy. Thank you for doing that, man.
Anybody else? Soup?
No, sir.
All right. Let's get into the discussion. I did get a text from Rick Ray, aka Showtime, this morning. Says, "Good morning, Jam. Just a quick announcement regarding parking and cleaning out / off your tailgate at Plant 12. They want us to park in the dirt lot to sweep off and out, not in the driveway. The mixers can't get around us or make the turn from the rubble area. This includes, but not limited to, using the outhouse as well. Thank you." So there you go. Little housekeeping item there. Sweep out and sweep off your tailgates in the dirt lot on your way out. Don't do it in the traffic pattern there.
Yeah. And don't just make it convenient for yourself. Go to the bathroom, move out of the way, and, think of the other drivers and the mixers and stuff.
Right.
Some common sense there.
Yep. Last week was a little bit tough. We had to let a 2.5-year veteran go because of his safety standards couldn't meet our bar. And what we mean by that is distracted driving and mobile phone use. This person was given a chance before, and
multiple, Jim. I don't mean to interrupt you. Multiple chances.
No interruption. We're having a discussion about it. He was given multiple chances, and we thought we were on the same page. And, to see that behavior continue was just a shot in the gut. And it doesn't feel good to have to let people go after they've been here for so long, or even a month, 2.5 months, or 2.5 years. It never feels good. But if you're not going to be safe and you're not going to put the phone down, you're not giving us a choice. You got to get out of your own way on that. So
yeah, and there's just no tolerance for it. We've done enough. We've showed enough film. We've had enough conversations about it. And when we run across it, you're truly distracted. We can. You're not watching the road. You're not anything. When we review the videos, anything happen. And you're going to kill you, going to kill yourself, going to kill others. I mean, it's just so irritating. And, the thing is, I mean, it's extraordinary, but I don't really give a shit if you stop 15 times a day to use that phone, if that's what you have to do. I don't want you to stop 15 times a day. Right. But don't use it when you drive. Quit texting, quit scrolling.
Right.
Do it call the person. Why can't you just call the person with your headset on or Bluetooth on or whatever? And then, like we just talked earlier here, and you said it would be, we talk about that, Dave, is that the addiction to that phone? Is that the TikTok? Time. Is that the scrolling part of it? Is that what you get caught up? Because you don't even think that you're being distracted. And that part is sad.
To me, it could be FaceTime as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And we've had it happen, Jam. I'm sitting here like in disbelief, right? But we've had it happen. People are FaceTiming going down the road, driving the truck.
Right.
Yeah. You can't do that and drive the truck. There's no way.
No. Not the way you should.
Yeah.
It's just not.
Too major of a distraction.
Yep.
Typically when something happens where we need to make a decision about letting somebody go, there's a lot of emails and discussions and, what are we going to do? But when it comes to the mobile phone use, we don't really, there's really not a lot of options. You know, it's especially if you've been warned already. You know, we have a last chance agreement we make you sign. You know, it's a big deal. You know, and then if you do it again, I mean, it's just we look at each other like there's only really one thing we can do now.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. I mean, we have to keep that standard because, I mean, I can't remember, Jam. Was it this video? Was it 16 seconds?
The 8-second one?
Not our not
Oh,
the
yeah,
8-second
yes,
video we
yes.
have people watch.
Yes, they hid the video.
This driver we let go, how many times has he watched that 8-second video?
A lot. He
Right?
used to be the preceptor to
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I mean, he was on his phone so long this event that he actually rotated the phone sideways
right
on the dash
to get a better look at it.
Yeah, and you know, whatever the case may be, no matter what was going on, right? Was that to make the text bigger? Was that to watch a video? Was it? We don't know what it was. Who cares what it was for? It was distracted driving,
Yeah.
and that's the point. And you know, in JR's class, and I don't know if I call it Casey's class, but the 2 days of training, I don't know if they go over it again. But in JR's class, they go over the distracted driving with the phone use, and he shows the 8-second video where the young man, you know, he's so distracted by his phone, he drives over a car and kills a man in 8 seconds.
Yeah, and the thing with that is if you just pay attention, not only killing the person, the family, him, and everything else, but the guy, and I know I've brought it up lots of times about the video, is the guy's just having a normal day like all of us here.
Absolutely.
You know, with girlfriend, going to rent the house or look at the new houses, the conversation, everything was fine. That's the same thing every one of us does every day.
Yeah.
Until it's not okay.
And thinks he's in a safe spot to do it.
Yep. And just not.
In the interview, when a guy's in prison, the one statement he makes that always sticks out to me is, I thought it would be okay.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I didn't. Yeah, I thought it would be okay. And it's
Right.
just like, no.
I do.
Yeah.
I mean, I've done it. We're all guilty of texting. I think it's going to be okay. But then when it's not.
Yeah, I didn't think anything was going to happen. I thought
Right?
it would be okay.
Yeah. Nobody goes out to suck or especially to kill somebody.
Yeah, I'm going to drive over a car today.
Yeah. I think that's the last thing,
Okay.
you know.
Which brings us into the next topic. There was a fatality in Texas on I-35. That person was driving under the influence and took 5 or 6 lives in a 17-car pileup, and he was found to be under the influence. No different than a cell phone. So I guess the big thing is like if you're doing 60 miles an hour with a loaded end dump and you drive into cars, people are dying.
Oh,
You know?
yeah.
It's just too much force.
And I don't know if it was gossip or not, Jam, because maybe you looked into it, because I know I heard about the wreck and everything else, but under the influence, and I thought maybe they were just trying to make it, sensationalize it, but I thought he was on the phone also.
Was he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What you've made this comment before, where you just,
Yeah,
Go for it.
go for it.
no, I was going to ask you what it was.
Oh, yeah,
about
so-
the difference between drunk driving and being on the phone.
Yeah, I disagree with it. Yeah, I think it was JR that gave me this, but the no different than a cell phone. A drunk driver is actually looking at the road. Hopefully,
Yes.
he's just having trouble driving, or
Yes.
she is having trouble driving
Yes.
under the influence. If you're on your phone, you're not even looking at the road.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're just driving completely blind. So I feel the cell phone's worse than drunk driving.
Yeah. And keep in mind, January 1st, I mean, Colorado, the new cell phone law started. You're not, it's mandatory, all vehicles, hands-free. We've talked about this before. And I don't think we have that problem. I mean, I haven't seen one of those videos yet where you have the phone to your head, which is illegal, but I'm just tossing that out there. It's illegal in your cars also. So everybody needs to be hands-free in your cars. So just tossing that out there as well. The phones are bad. Tell your loved ones, if they're texting you, that you're driving for a living and you can't be distracted by that phone. Put the message on your phone that when they text you, it bounces back, I'm driving and I'll reply to you when I'm stopped.
Yep.
That's standard on all the iPhones and Androids and all that. You just flip a switch and it's done, right? That way when you stop, you can reply.
Mine, as soon as I plug my phone in, it goes into drive mode
Nice.
through CarPlay.
Yeah.
Once it's detected that it's in CarPlay, you get that message.
Yeah. It's almost a relief driving too, isn't it, Jam?
I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. Good stuff.
Yeah.
So there's ways to solve the problem,
I was watching a car crash on YouTube last night, and the guy just never even hit his brakes, and it's like, you just have to think he was probably distracted,
Right.
and the car that he hit, husband and wife in the car, the husband's passed on, they're trying to revive him, and the wife is sitting there hurt, injured, like 5 feet away, watching them try to resuscitate. I mean, that's what's on the line.
Yeah.
It's like, getting caught at JFW and losing your job, that's not what's really on the line. I mean, you get to go and apply for another job after that.
Right.
Man, can you imagine killing somebody and being responsible for that?
Yeah. Or a lifetime of injuries or just hurting someone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Horrific.
Yep.
Horrific. The gravity of what we do, a lot of people don't think of, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a shock what we can cause or be responsible for sure.
Absolutely. All right, a couple more notes here. Clean off material behind the drip trays and fenders. Man, we've been talking about that forever and a day. That's especially if you're getting loaded on the passenger side. Either way, you should be walking around your truck and looking at that, maybe running your hand behind that drip tray. But if you are getting loaded on your passenger side, more than likely you're going to have material in that drip tray.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
that's kind of a tough one, Jam, too, because I've seen a couple trailers that I wanted to take the drip tray off and clean behind them when I'm walking around thinking, oh, it's going to be an easy gig. And
You can't get them off.
can't get them off, and they really get, if you get the nuts off, they get locked on to bolts, and
Right.
pulling that tray off. And, I've had to really, pry some off. But, if you're pulling the same trailer and everything, grab you a can of, WD or something in the shop and spray the bolts. So, the next day you can get them off maybe, and at least try. When you're doing that, they don't get that way, I guess.
Yeah,
the
sure.
little hand clamps.
They rust.
They rust.
Oh boy, do they rust!
Yeah.
They don't do anything.
Yeah, looking at one yesterday, and I don't know, somebody must have had to hook their vice grips to it or something because they completely bent them.
Oh,
to
yeah,
get 'em
because they
open.
collapse when they get
They
rusted.
collapsed. Yeah.
Yeah, and even once everything's off, it's almost like the drip tray is welded onto the fender.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And it gets stuck on those bolts, Jam. It's
Yeah.
the weirdest thing, but yeah.
But you said it though, Jim. Maintain it,
Yeah.
spray it with some WD and take it on and off occasionally and you're fine.
Yeah. I mean, I know the next trailers, Dave's going to work really hard, or we're going to work really hard and getting to move to the gin pole somehow.
Nice.
Or, underneath or something, just a new design,
Yeah.
Or just a shed plate above that where it's stored, Jim.
Yeah.
Because it is still the best location for it, and it's
Yeah.
right there, and
Yeah.
it would just be an angled plate so the material can't fall behind it. It would just hit it and shed off.
Sure. Sure. Absolutely.
But
I know, we could bungee him to the landing leg.
Oh, we could just bungee them on the deck plate. Yep. Which is where we put them when we first got them.
Right. We started that way.
Huh?
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. All right. Another housekeeping item, cleaning up the cores. If your top pushes grain to the ground, it needs to be cleaned up. Any mess at cores must be cleaned up immediately. Our contract depends on that. So, if we're over there just making a mess everywhere we go, they may start looking at other companies to haul their grain out of there.
right.
We got to be perfect while we're on the cores property.
And the tarp was not designed
Yeah,
to
there-
push
there
those
you go.
things.
Is that a plow? I thought it was a plow.
Right.
Plow tarp.
We used to have, or still should have, a rake over there, right, Dave? That's where you're going. And,
Well, that's where I was going, but no one ever talks about it.
I know.
Right. And
Well,
mysteriously,
it's easier to run the tarp over. Come on.
yeah. And mysteriously, whenever we talk about it, it's like, well, there's no rake over there. That rake's been broke for 2 years, or you know what I mean? Whatever the case may be. So yeah, if someone wants to check and we need one, we're more than happy to supply it. That's our job.
You're going to pony up and buy another rake?
Buy another rake. Can you imagine that? Yeah. We'll add it to the 1,000 shovels a year and 1,000 brooms for sure. So yeah. Yep.
Speaking of cores, the scale is fixed at cores. They are still waiting on a new computer to be able to print out bill of ladings, but
Oh, wow.
yeah, things are starting to move along.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And I wanted to give a friendly reminder to trucks 0040 to 0069 to continue parking over in the red lot. That is a permanent change. It seemed like the day after the change kind of reverted back a little bit. But
Oh, really? Because I was so proud of everyone. I should have done a shout out. I mean, thanks for bringing it up.
That's what I was just going to do, is a shout out to all you guys, because it's been nice.
Oh, hasn't it been to have some parking up here now?
I mean, unless we just had that many cars on the street, I mean, everything just seemed like it was pretty full here 2 days ago.
Huh, interesting.
Yeah, yesterday I heard some grumbling on the CB radio when guys were coming in and parking over there, having to move their cars, and sure, it was a little bit of a rodeo.
I bet.
And I just thought, you guys, the poor people on the other side of the fence have been doing it for years.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Well, I mean,
It's
there's more room,
Yeah.
on this side rather than in the red lot, right?
Honestly, it's the same thing. You just have to stop and wait for the guy to move his car.
Well, there's not 30 trucks across from each other, bumper to bumper.
It's
There's
the
20.
Same thing. I mean, you just have to stop and be patient and wait.
That's the same.
Yeah,
That's the same.
that's the same thing.
That's the same thing.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to have to wait for you when it's your turn to move your car.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So this is what I really wanted to talk about today, just because we talked about it on our steering committee meeting the other day, and then again yesterday via email. Let me pull up a picture of the numbers here. Here we go. But I wanted to talk about years of service and turnover, right? Turnover in the trucking industry in general is very high. Jim, you sent out some great information about, smaller companies. It still affects us, but not as great. But here's some numbers just to go over, and then we could dig into it. All right. So as of today, well, when I wrote this yesterday, we had 117 drivers. We have one driver that's been here for 20 years. That would be Stingray.
Yeah.
Yep. We have one driver that's been here for 15 years. I'm trying to think who that might be, because I think Chris Beam's 11.
Yeah, Rick Gray.
It would be Rick Gray.
Oh, Rick Gray's 15, yes. Chris Beam's 11, so there's 3 there. One driver with 9 years, 2 drivers with 8 years, 1 driver with 7 years, 2 drivers with 6 years, 5 drivers with 5 years, 14 drivers with 4 years, 9 drivers with 3 years, 19 drivers with 2 years, and 19 drivers with 1 year, for a total of 75 drivers with 1 year or more. Okay. Then we have 17 drivers with more than 90 days, but less than 1 year. And we have 25 drivers with less than 90 days. Okay. A couple years ago, we had about 100 trucks right around there. 75% of the fleet been here more than a year, and then the 25% has that churn in it.
Right.
Right. And it's a problem we've been trying to solve since I've been back, and we've tried a lot of different things to fix this. We've tried, first of all, our benefits get better every single year. I can't remember a year since I've been back where we didn't add something that brings you more money or greater benefits. There's one thing we've tried to do. We've increased safety bonuses. We've PTO program, paid holidays. Instead of a flat rate, you get your daily average. We've done all these things. We've met with drivers as a team when you were here for 2 weeks, and that was with the 2 brothers, Super Dave and myself. I did that for a while on my own. We've gone on ride-alongs after 90 days. We've done a lot of things to figure this out, and it still continues to be a thorn in our side, basically. Getting a shout out from Valentino earlier about this is the greatest place he's ever worked. Like, that's who I feel we are. That's what I feel that we've created. Clearly not everybody feels that because they move on to other things. And, we can't control some of these things. Somebody's moving, somebody's whatever the case may be. I mean, recently, just yesterday, we have a guy give notice. He fought to come back here for over a year. He worked here, he left, and then it was over a year he tried to come back, and now he's leaving. His comment was, it's just not fun anymore.
Right.
Right. It's one of the things that I heard. We had, I don't know, did you guys see the review on Google?
No.
I did not.
There's a new one. It's been there for a few weeks, and I actually reached out to the driver because it bugged me, and it said, JFW strives on safety. And right away I was like, well, that's true. I don't know if he knew what that meant, because then he went, into
strives or drives on safe.
Strives.
Okay.
Yeah. Like we strive to, So
be safe.
Yeah. But then he went into, there's no room for error, and it feels like we never have the driver's back. Now, this driver, he left and came back, so we had his back. He's missed 40 days in 2 years, probably, had his back. Emergency court cases he had to go to, had his back. Like, we've done all these things for him. He had mobile phone usage. We gave him another chance, right? And it's like, what do you mean we didn't have your back? We gave you had the worst attendance in the history of JFW. And
I know who you're talking about.
And we gave him chance after chance after chance after chance.
I know.
The call outs, the lates, the call, like, and we've given it, and to hear that we don't give him a chance, this is the only place where you'll get this many chances. We're a family business that give people chances, and we get it, and we want people to be better, So, yeah, I don't know. I thought it would be a good discussion to have. I feel like we had a nice open discussion amongst us, but it would be nice to talk about on the podcast.
Yeah.
Everything you're saying is spot on. And, are we strive for safety? Absolutely. That's what we're talking about. Is there a tolerance? No. If you're going to be better, then you need to strive. You need to have that bar. You need to be tough on safety. And the thing that is interesting about all this is, when I looked up those stats on how many people the turnover is in other companies or in the trucking industry, I think a lot of drivers get used to that mode of going to the next job, going to the next job, going to the next job. They think it's okay, and maybe it is okay, but you don't ever get ahead. It really has to be a change in driving and money and that kind of thing to get ahead. And I think JFW has become one of the top tier trucking companies in sand and gravel. And we rival a lot of the other jobs you can get because of what you have to do compared to what the other jobs require you to do. We've talked about the food industry, some of the fuel stuff, hazmat, different stuff like that. And I think that's important. One of the conversations that was brought up yesterday was that, when you reach your 5 years, you're topped out on your percentage raises, and there's no more raises. And the thing is, again, I don't think people are focused on some of the things you mentioned. Is, let's take Stingray, and he topped out probably quite a long time ago, 20 years,
17 years ago,
he topped out, which I know we've made changes.
Not true, because he started at 25%.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. But him or Rick Gray, but you mentioned all the changes. Even though he topped out on his percentage, the PTO was added, the paid holidays was added, the insurance was added, the safety bonuses was added. And the big thing, and that I really want to talk about, and nobody talked about it in any of the emails yesterday, is you're percentage based, right? Well, each year when we do different jobs and renew things and find new customers, we get raises on our percentages of what we haul. That's passed to the driver. That's your raises. JFW never gets raises as such. It's bidding the next job as you move forward. So every year, more than likely, you got a raise because you got the new percentage of what the job pays or what we bid, or, like CMEX and, all the stuff, the salt hauls, when all that gets added in. That's the reason you get to a certain percentage and you stay there, because you're involved in the company then, what the company makes more of.
Yeah.
That's the whole change, and nobody ever thinks of, at your 5-year mark, you get vested in your 401k. That means every bit of the money that we've matched, you keep now. there's a huge bump at 5 years and continually
Right.
for the next 10 years. And I don't think people have the vision, or it's moving on to that next thing. And, the comment yesterday that we're not fun anymore. Well, I would really trade to save somebody's life for a good joke.
Especially the bad ones, but
Yeah. I mean, what? And I know we're still fun.
I have a great time. I mean, you guys hear me.
Yeah.
I mean, that's up to you.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, Jim? That is up to you as a person, and we look at performance around here, and, we had a steering committee meeting Monday, and Jim showed us all a video that, I mean, you can take bits and pieces of that video, right? But I'll relate it back to being an athlete. And I guess what I'm bringing up is an athlete, a professional athlete, or, a college athlete, they're always striving to be better, right? They are, that's how they're going to get that's how they're going to become famous. That's how they're going to earn more money. If they're so good, they're going to turn professional, right? These are people that are just striving to be better. And generally, every single person on that team is striving to be better. Unfortunately, you run into people in life that they're just going through it, right? They're not striving to be better. And I think a lot of the programs we've put in place, we're asking you to be better. We're giving you the opportunity to be better. It's still up to you to choose to be better. And I guess that's some of the things when I hear that, it's not fun anymore. It's like, well, I think maybe that's a bit of a challenge now, so maybe it's being taken the wrong way by a few people. And I say very few. I mean, I think our safety program, I mean, I've gotten way more positive feedback than negative for sure. I think the new incentive to achieve the safety bonus, I mean, I think there was a lot of hesitation out there, but I think we've made it clear. It's up to you to get it. We're going to help you in every way to get it, and it's going to make us better. And I guess I love that fact when you see someone that's engaged, I'll back up a week ago. We just lost a guy that was needed to make more money. And, it was kind of one of those deals. It's like, okay, took the notice and off he went. And I happened to go to jam, and this guy's so broke. I mean, he's broke. He's behind on his bills. And it's like every winter here. It wasn't the greatest winter, but it wasn't the worst by any means. Right. And I asked Jam, I said, has he listened to the podcast and been paid for any of the podcasts?
Not once.
No, not one time. Hadn't listened to one pod. And I'm like, okay, so he's so broke, but he's not even willing to give up. I mean, how much time do you think that is to take that quiz or the survey?
Some people do it in 60 seconds.
Right?
And then they do it again.
But that's $85 a month.
Right.
And I guess I'm so broke, but I'm going to pass on the opportunity to make $85 a month. For listening to something while you're driving down the road.
While you're getting paid.
Yeah.
I mean, it just doesn't.
I struggle to believe that. So that's where, are you going to take an athlete? Is that athlete going to be sitting on the bench, or is he going to be in prime time? He's going to be in prime time, right? Well, the one listening to the podcast, taking the survey, answering the money, he's going to be prime time. The athlete that's not doing it, he's sitting on the bench, and pretty soon he's going to be replaced.
But that's the thing.
Yeah, exactly. But the thing is too, with that athlete, Dave, or that, that race car driver, or the top, I would say lawyer, the top CPA, or whatever, all those guys that did all that practice or all that studying or all that stuff, not one of those practices was very fun, probably.
Right? Yeah, I bet some guys enjoyed it.
Some. I mean, there has to be some to it. You have to somewhat enjoy it, but it's not fun, but it's the enjoyment of being better.
Right.
And accomplishing something, and that's all we've asked. We've challenged you guys to accomplish something. And if you're not striving forward, you're just dying.
Yeah.
That's all there is to it.
I mean, I don't know how many times I've asked Sam when he came home from practice, how was practice? And right now he's going through a period there at college where he and I had never heard him use this before. He's like, oh, practice was BTA. I'm like, BTA, what is that? And he's like, belt to ass. He goes, it was an ass kicker. you know, and I mean, it's belt to ass. And I'm like, really? And I said, well, how is it? He's like, it's awesome.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I you know,
Have you ever hit him with your belt, Dave?
I've threatened to. I've threatened to drag him out to a field where no one will hear him scream.
I know. You've told me that.
He straightened up after that too, Dave.
Yeah.
But anyway, I just, you know, there's those people that are going to strive to be better and not complain about it because they know they're getting better, right? Was it an ass kicker? Yeah. You know, everyone has their different view on it. That's what I'm getting at. You make fun. You make it suck or suck. Right. It's still, life is up to you, right? I mean, you get thrown lemons, you make lemonade, or you take a bite of lemon and you pucker up and you're like, this sucks. It's awful.
Yeah. Yeah. Another term I've been hearing is micromanaged. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh yeah.
That's another thing that some people feel that they're being micromanaged, you know, and it's like, some people aren't feeling that. Like, I don't think the top earners are the guys that got $850 in bonuses last month feel like they were micromanaged.
Yeah.
I feel like they understood the assignment and they went out and did it and got paid for it. You know, this is still a job at the end of the day. We want to provide the best place for you to work. We would like you to enjoy it, you know?
Yeah. But you gotta like to drive too, Jim.
Yeah.
And it's pretty tough to be micromanaged when you're alone in the truck.
Right. To me, a lot has to boil down to engagement. And we had 3 meetings up here yesterday, and I asked one of the drivers, you know, he's fairly new. I was like, have you listened to the podcast, Jenny? He's like, no. So, okay. I says, listen, like, all I could do is encourage you to listen to it, you know, because we can't force you. But at the end of the day, we look at that. You know, if something happens and you're disengaged and you're not participating, you know, you may not get the same results as if something happened and, you know, you're participating in the program and you're learning and you're, you know, taking part in essentially a safety meeting. You know, what if I wasn't participating? You know, like you and Jim were like, all right, Jan, we need you to do this. And I'm like, okay, I'll think about it.
Right.
And the next week, Jam, did you do that? And I'm like, nah, I just don't believe in that.
Yeah.
You'd be like, yeah, your job is to believe it.
Well, think of how many people call you guys, call the safety team, call you, Jam, call you, Super David. You know, what if your guy goes, nah,
Right.
just not interested.
I need next Thursday off. Nah, I don't believe in that. I'm not participating.
Yeah, it's, you know, people got to realize how it affects everybody and how we want to uplift people.
Yeah. So, you know, we understand some people may feel micromanaged and Big Brother's watching you and we want to control every move you make. That's not it at all. We want to be a safe company and we want to pay you. JFW paid $66,000 in bonuses last month.
Right.
66 grand.
Right.
I mean, that's a lot of bonus money.
And the people that are, I'm just generalizing this, right, you guys, but the people that are feeling micromanaged are probably the few that we've reached out to that have probably an inadequate safety score or efficiency score. And we're reaching out to them, trying to help them achieve a better score so they earn those safety bonuses. And if we didn't believe in the safety program, we would just let those guys die.
Right.
Right? Why would we care? You know, we can sit back and go, well, just saves us money. We didn't have to spend that money then. Ultimately, we know if we're paying you to achieve that safety score and you earn it, you not only feel better about the job you've done, but you've actually helped us save money because you're driving better. You're more aware of what's going on. You're easier on the truck. You're using less brakes. You're using the dynamic engine brake that the truck was built with, which saves us so much money in shop maintenance. I mean, everything about it is a win-win-win program if you can buy into that, you know. And I want to read one of the comments from a fellow driver that I had a chat with on Saturday, you know, and I'm not mentioning any names because I don't want anybody to hack on him or anything because he's not just sucking up. It was a genuine conversation we had about a situation. And I kind of reached out and, you know, Jim and I gave him kudos because he had a shitty situation that he had to deal with and he handled himself like a king. It was awesome, you know? And I had said, thank you, that Jim and I say, thank you for that. He says, thank you. That means a lot to me. I thank you and Jim for helping us to be better drivers and for your kick-ass safety program, 2 exclamation marks. This is the part I just freaking love. I mean, I love this part. It has helped me it has helped me a lot, and I strive to continue to be better every day.
Oh,
And this particular driver does.
right.
You see it every day.
That's awesome.
You know what I mean? And you're just like, golly, I couldn't imagine having 120 of that, right? You know, when you have those meetings, Jam, and it's like, if you listen to the podcast, no, I've never listened to it.
It used to make me mad.
I bet.
But now it's just like, I've realized I can't make you do it. You got to want to do it,
Yes.
you know, and it's there to help you. I can only ask you 5 times to do it. And by the 5th week of you not doing it, I feel like I've lost that battle,
Right.
you know, but I'm still winning. I go home and I sleep well at night, and I know I've done my very best,
Right.
you know, and I just want that for everybody.
Yeah.
You know, the person that gave notice yesterday, right, that said it's not fun anymore, I also want to bring up, he did have problems with his safety and efficiency score, but he's fixed it, and he's trending upwards where he could probably double bonus. So he's putting in the work, and he's capable of doing it, you know, which to me, it's like he could do it. So it's not like it's not within his grasp.
Yeah.
It's his for the taking,
Yeah.
you know, which I just don't get it. We had another person, you know, just speaking of the turnover, he wanted to go and drive a hood in an 18 speed and eventually buy his own truck. And I thought, you know, he's a newer, younger driver, and I do see a lot of potential in him. And I felt like it was a loss enough where I wanted to have a conversation with him, and we talked, and he was very indecisive. And I don't know if it's because he was meeting with us that he was indecisive, but, you know, we pointed out some things that maybe he thought of or didn't. And towards the end of the conversation, he says, yeah, I don't even really know if I want to be an owner-operator. The rates in Colorado suck. So I'm like, why would, you know? But the dream is so big for him, he's still going to go that he's got to go chase his dream. And I'll never knock a man or a woman, a person, for chasing their dream.
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just really weird for him to say, like, yeah, you know, I know this is probably not the best idea, you know, and then still go ahead and do it. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Listening to you guys too, another point I want to make, and you talk about Big Brother, and I know that connotation of Big Brother's watching you, but the thing is it's everybody we're watching or being looked at. It's equal, you know, and that these are the first times that we've been able to be on an equal playing field with everybody. Everybody's on the same criteria. We used to not ever know what was going on with the truck and what's happening with the truck. And somebody would accuse somebody, and somebody would say something, and we'd try to follow up on it. And you just never knew, you know, in these circumstances, we know. And the driver's metrics or the fuel efficiency, everybody is on the same playing field, you know, and the thing is we have all these people doing it, and you can't. That means there's a situation here, and
Right.
and we want to teach, right? But it's the most equal way, you know, and people taught all these years and all the push for DEI and equalness and qualification. We have it right here. We put everybody on an equal playing field. All you have to do is drive better, drive efficiently, and we can all benefit from it. You know, we're telling you, Jam told you that was a $66,000 bonus for February that we gave out in here in March, you know, but we're trying to be able to afford that because you're more fuel efficient. Dave went over it. You're better on the truck. We're better on brakes, less maintenance. We'll make that money up, but
Safer.
Safer is a big thing, because we don't even know what an accident will cost. Can't even put a figure on that. But listen to all the reasons. And the big reason against it is Big Brother. You know, what was the other? It's not fun. What else?
Micromanage.
Huh?
Micromanaging.
So if I take my big list and I go pros and cons, what are we doing here, you guys?
how many people have we had make a list?
Right?
None.
Right. And then, and the compliments
Oh,
we're
wow.
receiving, it's a big thing. And, I'm thinking, what do the listeners from these other countries or other places get out of this conversation if they're really listening, 49 times or 17 times?
Right.
Maybe it's the fact that we're trying to be positive and raise the bar, and we're trying to be inspirational. We're trying to be inspirational in an industry that has a black mark on it,
And a nuclear verdict option.
Yeah.
Right? If we have a driver that is on their phone and we kill someone, I mean, I hate to say it, it's pretty good odds we're out of business.
But what about the new building?
Gone.
Yeah.
I mean, everything we've worked for our entire lives is gone, Jim.
Right.
There's no coverage for that. And people don't understand that. I mean, the people here could probably leave and pretty easily go get another job, because I would tell you, those 75 drivers you listed that have some seniority here, Jam, they're pretty goddamn good drivers.
Yeah.
They're going to go out and they're going to get a job pretty easy. They might not like it as much as this one or whatever the case may be. But, I brought up on last week's podcast, just to spin another light in it. You're backed up to a pile waiting to load, sand at LG Everest or LG Fort Lupton, LG Firestone, whatever the case may be, wherever you're at, right? And, you're talking to the guy next to you, or at least I used to, right? And carry it's such an odd concept, right? Talk to someone else in a truck. But anyway, you'd be like, I just got our safety bonus, man. My efficiency score's up. My safety score's up. What was yours? And they're like, safety score? We don't have a safety score. We don't have an efficiency score. We don't have a bonus for any of that. We don't get paid for that. And you're like, wow, you don't, we do over here, and that, I don't know. It's so exciting to me, and to see, Jim got a text the other day. Someone sent him a screenshot. Someone here has 100 efficiency and 100 safety. I mean,
Impossible.
Yeah,
right?
impossible, Cam, right?
We lowered the efficiency because we had changed a metric in it that everyone was getting for free, because it was a mistake on our end when we created the program. And we told everybody that, but that's why we paid everyone for 90 days for free so they could get a grip on it. I mean, it's not like we approached this at a shitty angle to screw people, because boy, have we made it clear we're trying to help everyone. The 3 days in a row of meetings we had a week ago, Jam, I feel like everyone should have walked away from that meeting. If they didn't understand how to improve their safety score and get to the minimum threshold we're asking for, shame on them.
Right.
You know what I mean? Truly, shame on them, because we've talked about it on this podcast. We've had meetings with those that weren't meeting the threshold. And, I hope everyone walked away from those meetings and are improving,
There's a lot of, shout out to the ones who are, I'm dropping name here, Luis Cantino. He's not there yet, but he is working hard. He checks in regularly. He wants to know how he can improve. I mean, just the effort by him, speaks volumes.
Yes.
It's like, because he could be like, yeah, I don't believe in that. Not going to do it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So,
yeah, and it's the same thing. We're not dogging anybody that hasn't achieved it yet, because they need to learn and teach.
Right.
Somebody that makes, free throw after free throw, they practiced.
Yep.
And might there be some natural talent? Absolutely. Dave just mentioned the guys that got 100 and 100. I bet if you talk to him, he could help you teach you to be better.
Yeah.
And it's not that you can't do it. That's our thing, is you can do it. But, that big brother micromanagement company that we're running, we gave the bonus away free?
Right.
Free? Boy, that sounds like micromanaging. That's the things that, I'm trying to make a joke of it, but that's the things that are, I don't know a company that truly does that gives stuff away.
I mean, we just care. At the end of the day,
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's because we care. Do we want to spend less money on brakes? Yeah. Do we want to spend less money on fuel? Yeah. Do we want to be safer?
Yeah.
Yes. 100%.
Do we want to have higher paid employees?
Yes. Do we want to roll money back into these programs? Yeah. I mean, would you like everybody to max out on their bonuses?
Yeah.
Like, I want to see Jim and Dave sweat every month, because so many people are achieving the max amount of money they can on these bonuses.
Yeah.
Also, for the newer people, or if you're thinking about coming to work for JFW, this is a place where you could come. I mean, the senior guys may not like me saying this, but you could come in here and make more money than a guy that's been here 5 years.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Just out of effort
Yeah.
and engagement, participating in the program.
Absolutely.
You eat what you kill around here, but we got it set up fairly for everybody to do it.
And the thing is, the other companies that some of these drivers have went to, when we have lost them from us, is the companies that they went to are paying you illegally. That's just a plain fact. It's illegal. Are you getting away with it? Absolutely. There's, some of them are straight stacked and non-mufflered. That's illegal, right?
And they're going to start ticketing. I think last week I said 1,000. I'm pretty sure it's a $2,000 fine.
Yep, exactly. The one company that I know about, it's not an interstate company, it's an intrastate company. So they're not following all the rules we have to use or follow. And it's just, it's not what we are striving to be. It's what we used to be. And if that's what you want to do, is go to a company that does things illegally,
yeah,
that's where you belong.
Right.
And that's not what we're about. We've made, and we were one of those illegal companies. And when we were caught, we can't do that. We can't survive. We can't do that. And then when we started doing it the right way, it was better.
Absolutely.
Why were you guys one of those illegal companies? I just know you two, and if it ain't right, you ain't doing it.
We didn't have the money, Jim. It was seriously the money. We had customers that filed bankruptcy on us and put us in a position that we either push the limits or we go out of business.
Right.
And we hauled heavy when we shouldn't have been. We ran some questionable tires. We were never unsafe like we were going to go kill somebody. But, if we needed to run a tire that was, bald, we ran it.
It was bald.
It was probably better than a brand new cap in today's market. But, that's things we did, and we had to do. We run, long hours and push the stuff. We did all of that, but we had to overcome. And the big thing that pushed that, Jim, is we had a company that filed bankruptcy here in town, and they took every vendor. If you were a tire vendor, you didn't get your bill paid. If you were fuel, you didn't get your bill paid. There was even on a donut company on there. Was it $350, Dave? Or
Jim, I thought it was like $1,200. I'm like,
and
how do you buy
donuts?
$1,200 worth of donuts?
Yeah, because that's a shitload of donuts, right?
Especially then.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, you go to Parlor, drop that easy. Parlor donuts, they'll take your money.
that was a choice we made, but that's because of somebody else's bad business decision. It's not ours, and we struggled through it. But because of our reputation, Jam, we were able to go to, at that time it was Brewer Tires. We were able to, talk to Sam Hill, Scott and Becky, and, Sam when he was still alive. We were able to go to those and go, we're going to pay you back, but we need some time, and they're like, okay, we'll work with you. We understand that. We get it. But, we communicated all that kind of stuff, and we, signed personal guarantees.
Nice.
And we struggled through it, and that's what you do. And I mean, maybe that's what taught me and Dave that to be better, to strive for that, but you got to work. You gotta buy in. You gotta get up in the morning, and you gotta do it. Is it overnight?
Hell no.
I was going to say fuck no, Dave.
Yeah.
It is not overnight. It's not like
fucking hell no.
right. It's
40 years later.
Yeah. It's getting out, opening that garage by hand because there is no opener. It's changing that channel because there is no TV channel. It's cooking your food on the stove because there is no microwave.
Wow.
It's that. And, if you're not prepared to do that, you're not going to make it.
Yeah.
It's like everything else. Your choices, your decisions, your integrity, and how you apply yourself make you successful or kill you. I mean, think of your choices. If you're going to buy a house, be sure you can afford the payment. Be sure you have some money saved up. Be sure you're prepared for a slow week. Do all of these things to be successful. You can't just we live in such a now society.
Mm-hmm.
We don't give ourselves time to do things. So yeah, be prepared. Look down there, talk to friends, ask people questions. If you don't have parents that can give you advice, ask your friends. It's just like we're talking about here. If you're not achieving those scores, we've made it so freaking clear. I'm tired of saying it. Ask one of us and we will help you. We are more than happy to do a ride along. That came out of the meetings we had. It was 2 weeks ago now, but every meeting we walked out and had a handful of ride alongs. Every one of those drivers are better. Every single one of them. We met with one early on, right? And I happen to really like this young man, and my heart went out to him because he pulled out his phone and he showed us, he was explaining to us that he talked to his wife about his efficiency score and his safety score. And he read them to her and she's like, okay, what is that like out of? And I don't know the exact numbers. They were very low. And he said, well, that's out of 100. That's the maximum that you can get. And she's like, well, where's everyone else? Is everyone struggling with it? And this is where my heart went out to him because, he was embarrassed to tell his wife. And he said, I'm the lowest one in the company. I have the worst score in the company.
Wow.
But he doesn't anymore. And that's the success story about it. We brought him in, we coached him up, we've given him all this information, and he's making it.
And the thing is, not to interrupt you, because great story, Dave. It didn't cost him any money. It made him more.
Right. Absolutely. Isn't that hard to believe?
Right? Didn't cost him.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like a Sudoku puzzle. Who knew?
And I know I don't remember who, because Erica rode along with somebody yesterday.
Yep.
I don't remember who it was. And I know she's not a driver. That's come up that but she understands the matrix. But I know she gave me a whole list. She's in truck driving school right now, doing the written side of it. And I think in April, she goes to get her license.
So badass.
And the things she gave us is the same thing we teach, or the list she gave us from the school,
right,
is the same thing we teach, right? But the thing is the driver she went around with yesterday, just from listening to everybody, getting some more tips from JR on how he helped Rick, I know she changed that driver's score.
Yep.
And that's just understanding of what you're doing.
Yes, and he was on the uptick as well.
Yeah, he was definitely improving.
Yeah, so a few things, and I mean, everybody can listen to this like, well, how can Erica teach me something? She doesn't even have her license. Look, she's going to school. Bullshit. She has some information to help you. Listen to it and go with it. Try it. Apply it. If I had someone that could show up here that was 17 years old and could help me make a financial investment or decision that I didn't know of or wasn't aware of or didn't know existed, or boy, I'd be pretty dumb if I didn't take that advice, if it was that good, if it was that good of advice, right?
Yeah, if you can't take advice from people, that's dangerous.
Exactly, Jam. So I guess, don't let her age or wisdom or knowledge keep you from listening to her when she has the information, right? I mean, you just sat right there and said, the school is, and this is a premier school. This is 303 that she's going to, and we've had them on the podcast. We wouldn't have Bob's Truck Driving School on the podcast if they were just a Bob, right? These guys, they specialize in mountain driving. What do we do here? We drive in the mountains, right?
Weird.
I mean, Young's Ranch, Wallstrom Quarry, Fairplay. It's nothing but mountains between
Utah.
here and there. Yeah,
Utah.
Yeah, right. Utah.
How do we get to Utah? Go over a couple passes.
2 passes. Yeah. So, I mean, gosh, you guys, how much more can we say we're here to help? We're here to help you be successful.
And then if you want to look at it with Erica not being a driver, then get a hold of one of the drivers that is doing well.
Right.
Because you can look it up.
Yep.
Right. You see everybody's scores, right? Am I right on that, you guys?
They
or you see it in a group. You see where you're at in the company.
I don't know what the drivers could see.
Okay.
That had to be a thing because this driver knew he was at the bottom.
But I think it just shows where he's at with the rest, not their names and their scores.
Gotcha.
So somebody might not know. But anyway, ask another driver.
Yeah.
Ask us. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember on that.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
We'll help you. That's what we're here for.
All right. Let's talk about what's next.
I don't want to.
All right, let's go on to questions from the audience. What's next? Next week's weather is delicious, right? It's going to be in the 70s and the 80s next week.
Yes.
So
Yeah, was Thursday supposed to be 80 or Friday?
one of those days is
Thursday.
like 84 degrees.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll be
Come
complaining.
on with it.
I hope it's not windy.
I'll be complaining about the heat. It's too
Right?
hot.
Right?
Yeah, so that's awesome.
Turn the heat down.
Hopefully, we get an uptake in work. Sometimes it does take a while to ramp up, even though the weather's good. It's still, we're recovering from the winter still. Jobs are getting set up and
Absolutely.
bid out and stuff like that. So,
Yep. I know it was a little tough yesterday. We were slow, and today we're slow.
right.
And it was just they were calling for rain, but I guess I want to throw it out there. It's different now than it was 10 years ago or 20 years ago. And what I mean by that is contractors aren't going to gamble $200 a yard mud anymore like they used to when it was $80.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's almost 3 times the cost now to place that mud. So if there's any worry of weather or if they can protect it, a lot of people don't know this, but when you place mud or concrete and it's windy out, it dries the surface too fast and it cracks and it's no good, right? And they have to tear it out and replace it. So, I mean, there's a lot going on with yesterday and today's weather, even though you may not see snow on the ground. It has a lot to do with it. So I'm just throwing that out there for any new people that are interested or worried or concerned or, that don't know those things.
Nice. Dustin Curry wanted to bring up there's a new traffic pattern on Highway 85 south of 470 that's going to affect the Bronco and Plant 13 runs. It's supposed to make traffic better. I don't know if we're there yet, but we'll probably get a pretty good report.
Interesting. It's so funny, Jam, until I read or heard you say Bronco at the same time. I'm like, what? Highway 85 and 470. I was just through there, like at Brighton.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I wasn't putting it together. Oh, Santa Fe and 470.
Yeah, because I've been through there, I don't know, several times in the last year, and it's one way, it's another way, it's over here, the traffic's over here, this is under construction,
right?
Or up, you're just like, wow, this is crazy right here.
Hopefully.
So did they do the diamond pattern? Is that what's open now? Did Dustin say?
JR pulled up a map of it earlier. I didn't really look at it very hard, but it's a little weird.
Because it's not a roundabout.
It's not a roundabout.
Right? Okay.
No.
Because where's the other one, Super Dave? Is it Lafayette, Louisville, that has the diamond?
It's on McCaslin Boulevard over Highway 36.
Yeah, because
it freaks me out every time I go through it.
It does but it moves traffic.
It does.
It does move traffic.
Does.
Yeah.
I didn't know this until I looked talking to Allie this weekend, because they were looking at a house in Aurora. And I looked up, what's the closest exit? How far from the highway? I was just trying to go over. Is it against a busy street? Yada, 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 right? All the things a new homeowner would not think of, right? Because they're a new homeowner, right? Who knows? Why would it matter if I live against Alameda? Well, it's going to be noisy, right? Is there a fence? Is there trees? Is there foliage to keep them, Anyway, I didn't know Alameda and 225 was like that, Dave. Did you? And I brought up,
very rarely go down 225.
Is it a cornfield?
It's not my neck of the woods, I guess.
Corn maze.
225 has been a corn maze.
Yeah. I didn't know it was like
that's
that.
No doubt.
Yeah. And when I looked at the map, I'm like, Allie, this is one of those exits. I'm just saying it's everything because everything about it feels wrong, doesn't it, Dave?
It feels backwards.
It does.
Oh my
God.
God.
I'm going to get hit.
Yes. You question everything. You're like, I don't know. I'm not buying into this. Is this right? And then you're like looking at people like, well, it's all safe. We're all in our own lanes. It's going to be okay.
Right.
Well, everybody
takes a second to get there, though. You're like,
right.
Oh, okay. That car's not going to hit me.
Right.
So what's going on this Monday, guys? Anything cool?
The silence, the anticipation, the drum roll.
I mean, do you guys feel it?
Where is our drum? Thank you. We are going to start digging for a foundation at the new building.
What? Breaking ground.
Breaking ground. We are going to
Monday.
We are going to start digging.
Are you sure? I've been hearing that every year for the last,
Dave? That's the
4
hesitation
years.
when Jam asks me, or ask us, what is there something going on? We're open, so right. That's
happening.
Our plan. We're moving equipment. We're, we've got it scheduled. All the other stuff. So yeah, it's awesome, Jam. Very, very exciting stuff. Yeah.
And then how long is the build out? 18 months, 2 years?
18 months. Yeah. It's still, and I think 18 months is the far end of it. you know,
Oh.
and
They throw out there 12 to 18 months, Jim,
Yeah.
but we say 18.
yeah, we
'cause-
just, yeah.
Under promise, over deliver.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And
Right.
and, you know, the tilt up building is going to just save some time. You know, we don't have to make any assembly, anything like that. You know, there's some forming and stuff that needs to be done, but man, we're pumped to get stuff going over there and
Heck yes.
see something change.
Yeah.
You know, when they tilt that building up over there, it's going to be monstrous, and
It's going to be big.
and it's going to be like,
Yeah.
okay, now we're going. Now even the foundation will help going. Now we're moving. Now we got something, right?
You know that writing on your mirror that says objects in mirror, may appear bigger than they actually are?
Right.
That's what that building's going to be like.
Right.
Because you're going to look at it and be like,
Holy
my
moly.
God.
That's a structure.
right?
Yep.
Right? This building fits in that building's shop,
Oh, wow.
right?
That's
Yeah.
nuts.
Yeah. But see, then you got to think about that, you know, they're like, oh, probably the comment, oh, look how big that is. Nobody realizes we have this building, we have the building next door, and we have the buildings over there.
Right.
We need that place to service our fleet.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't want a big building? Fuck out of here.
I mean, we've got 6 bays we're using right now.
Yeah.
Right? That'll have 4 more.
Nice.
It's not
Yeah,
like it's double.
And what we're adding is the wash bay,
Yep.
and possibly the
which we have 2 wash bays now.
Yeah.
We'll have 2 wash bays then.
yeah. So
Right? I mean, it's not like it's some crazy monstrous thing, but it's going to be badass. It'll be badass.
which makes it better for you guys.
Absolutely.
Parking and the facility to see everybody and pull in and out of bays,
Better truck maintenance.
better truck maintenance,
You know?
everything. Dave,
The gym.
Gym, yeah, the gym.
Tennis courts.
We do have some extra, not a lot of extra rooms, but going to the tilt up, we were able to move the mechanicals to the rooftop gym,
Oh.
which freed up some office space
Nice.
for us, either plain offices or some different changes.
So I will have an office with a door. Perfect. Just
I
kidding.
did, on a side note, Janet did change our, instead of saying I go to the gym now. So at least I'm spending an hour a day in the gym.
Nice. In the morning or the afternoon? Depends.
Sometimes both.
Throughout a 24-hour period.
Depends when I get the urge to go. That's awesome.
And then was that it, Jim?
That's
Oh,
it.
is. Do you know
For the
what
what's
else
next.
though? I have something else.
For what's next?
Yeah. What's
Did I
next?
not look at the calendar?
Oh, wait. What is next? Tomorrow,
Yes,
right? That's where
Yes.
you're going?
I
Yeah,
am.
tomorrow.
I am.
Dave,
Dave,
you don't know what tomorrow is?
Tomorrow is always next. What are you talking about?
Good point.
Wow.
Good
He's
point.
just a wealth of information
He is.
today,
He is.
isn't
Love
he?
it. Love it. That would be the first day of spring tomorrow.
Absolutely.
So,
Spring will
Very
have sprung.
cool.
Yep.
I really picked a good day for that then because my high road hauling is about spring.
Oh,
Oh,
very cool.
great, Dave.
Good
Well,
job.
Picked a
It's
good day for
It's
that.
this week then, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Good stuff.
We're all synced up.
Yep.
Couple safety topics of the week. Number 1, you guys never heard this one before. Stop at stop signs.
I don't get it.
Weird.
What are we supposed to do?
So weird.
Is that a question on the quiz?
It continues.
I thought
to
that
be
was a
problem.
yield.
Challenge.
10 miles per hour.
We just talked about it last week, and we're
What do you-
talking about it again. If you see a stop sign, they're hexagon, red sign, white lettering, please stop.
But stopping is under 5 miles an hour and just strolling through it.
That is not stopping, Jim. That is considered
Will they
rolling.
call it a California stop?
No, I think a California stop. The momentum actually. Like, are you laughing at the way I pronounce momentum?
No,
Well,
No, I'm laughing at me.
Well, let's do it.
I was
do-
trying not to make fun of California is what I was trying to do. Cause it's like, I've heard that growing up, right?
Right,
The minute I got my
California
license, oh, that's a California stop. And I was like, they're so cool in California. Now I'm like, God,
Now they're not.
no, California sucks.
Yeah, big
What
time.
an amazing land and property and resources and
region.
yeah.
I mean, its economical region is
the state of California could almost be a natural wonder of the world because of everything they have.
Mm-hmm.
And man, have the people ruined it.
And they ruin other states too, but that's
That's
not.
a different story.
This is safety topics, not.
Thank you.
Yes.
Not political.
Thank
We should do a JFW stop.
Stop loss, because I feel like we're losing. I feel like I'm losing right now.
We're working you over pretty hard
Because we want to stop. We want to
Yeah.
stop
Let
at all
me
stop
stop.
signs.
Where else do we stop?
Stop interrupting you.
Before you pull on the scale.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you for participating in the podcast.
Because
Yes.
some scales do have a stop sign and most do not.
Yes.
But
Exactly.
we still need you to stop before you pull on the scale.
Yes. Thank you. Stop. All right. And this came up last week. Pinch points. Never
Ouch.
put.
Did you just pinch me?
No, absolutely not. I'm going home. Pinch points.
No, stop. Don't.
Never, ever put your fingers where you wouldn't put your. Yes. Right. If you want to put that there, don't put your fingers there because it's a good way to break your fingers.
Yes.
Okay. We just had a tailgate smash somebody's fingers. He did end up breaking a finger. So that's not good for anybody. Definitely watch out for that tailgate. If you got it propped open with a hammer, that is not for you to put your hands in.
Yeah.
You know, propping your tailgate open with your sledgehammer is for you to maybe be inside of your trailer, sweeping stuff out through the gap, or you could prop it up to, you know,
Put your shovel.
close your tailgate latches, put your shovel through there, stuff like that. Well, yeah, your shovel, but you got to be careful because when you put your shovel in there, you're going to stick your arm in there. Just keep in mind that hammer may slip and break your fingers.
Right.
So, all right. Tips and tricks from Armando Del Val. Armando just texted me. He's a little nervous. He says he thinks he could have done better, and he had all this stuff he wanted to say, and then he had like a blank when he went to write it. And I'm just proud of Armando for taking the time to do it.
Yeah.
You know, we haven't had anybody since Ray quit doing it try to participate in that. So,
And just like you said, he's done this on his own.
yeah, nobody asked him.
Yeah.
He didn't get paid extra.
Right.
He didn't get paid like we pay people to listen to the podcast.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll throw some tips out there to Armando because he said he had so many things that he wanted to put in there and blanked at the time. Armando, when you think of those things,
Next week.
yeah,
next week.
obviously create one for next week, but I'm going to give you the tips to do that. You can text yourself. And a lot of people don't know that, right? You can just text yourself, text your own number.
When I think about you, I text myself.
Wow. And just text those thoughts or email. I
Yep.
email myself all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Just things to remember. So
Yeah.
I know that
then that helps you at those moments. You just search that, or, you know, it's really easy with the text. You just look it up and you're like, oh yeah. Then
Yeah,
you
right.
put something together.
But
I-
please don't do it while you're driving.
Absolutely.
the iPhone's really weird because they have this thing called like memos,
Yep.
and you can actually just write down your thoughts.
There you go.
I know Androids, they probably don't have
There
that.
you
You
go.
got to text yourself.
They do have the same thing, but I wouldn't
Oh.
remember where to search that.
Plus a pen.
Yeah.
Hey, and Armando, I want to throw out just before you start. Our first podcast was 13 minutes.
Yeah. This tips and tricks probably gonna be 13 minutes. He wrote a book, so
But it's all good stuff.
it's all great.
Yeah.
There's a couple things we may disagree with. I'll just throw that out there, but that's okay. We
Yeah.
can disagree and still be friends, Armando.
Absolutely. And
Uh,
and disagree might be a strong word, Jam. Really.
Yeah,
We would just do it different.
we're gonna discuss other options.
Yeah, absolutely.
But these are Armando's options, and these are his tips and tricks, and we are grateful for Armando.
And it works.
Absolutely.
Yes. Thank you. All right. So here we go. Good morning, JFW family. So this is my first time writing something about this, so I apologize if some of you take this the wrong way. I'm already offended. I believe that everyone here is a great driver, or else you wouldn't be here. However, there are a few things I want to mention from being here for 2 years and things I saw on the road or seeing videos from other drivers or heard on the radio. So, winter looks like it's coming to an end here soon.
Yay.
Yay. I love it. Participation.
I'll jump in on the next one.
But now that winter is leaving, we got spring and summer down the road, and soon work is going to be super busy again.
Yay.
Yay.
So, so now for some drivers and new drivers, you know how JFW works during winter season. But believe me when I say this, warm and hot weather driving will be just as dangerous as winter driving. Like I said, we're going to get really busy. Yay.
Yay.
I threw that. I lived that one. When the gates open And that means that we'll really need to be doing good pre-trip and post-trip on these trucks. Great advice right there, Armando. Not only will us as drivers will be busy, but also the mechanics. So we have to make sure that we're catching our faults when we're at the yard so that the night crew can work on them. I noticed last year, and some drivers telling me that they only write up what's wrong with their trucks on Friday. Boo.
Yeah, what's up with that?
Bad job because we don't have a full staff Saturday,
Yeah. Why would you wait till Fridays?
right?
Well, I don't want my truck to be down.
Yeah.
I don't want my truck to be down. Well, it's going to really be down if it's something serious.
Yeah. Bad decision.
But if a lot of drivers are doing that, then there's a very good chance that your truck might not even be touched because the mechanics were working on other trucks. Then Monday comes and the fault is still there, and now you're losing time and money. Most of the time, it's because after a very long day and week, people just want to go home and skip the post trip. Now, moving forward, I myself will still keep the tailgate open after every shift. Some drivers will also do that. Even when it's a super hot day, my tailgate will be open, so please, when doing a pre-trip, look for those tailgates and make sure they are closed. This is one thing I may do differently. April, I probably won't prop my tailgate open anymore.
Yeah.
There's no reason for it. This past Monday at LG Fort Lupton, I saw a driver pass me while I was waiting for my material, and I saw that his tailgate was open, and I told him over the radio, and he did close it. Also, when we're busy, we're basically driving nonstop, and with that, we're going to be getting a few flat or pop tires. Just from being here, I noticed that a lot of our pop tires are because of low tread. Right now, we're driving about 250 to 300 mile a day average. Somewhere we're doing 350 to 400 a day, and sometimes more if you do an early load. Yeah, some guys may get 600 in a day.
Yeah.
Those tires are going to be spinning hot, and those treads are going to start getting low. You don't want to be that guy or girl who's doing fair play and pops a tire and realize it's because you had low tread. Why else do we get flat tires, Brother Dave?
Well,
Main thing.
you have a hole that created, a nail or something in a tire, but we're running with a low tire.
Right.
That's 95% of the tire loss we have here.
It's because it's low on air.
Low on air.
What does that do to the tire?
Well, for every 1 pound of air, you pick up 2 degrees of heat. When that tire's running 20, 30, 50, 80 degrees hotter, it can't stay together.
Got it.
The rubber starts to disintegrate. And the problem is that a lot of people don't understand. They associate that with the tread because they see the tread come off. The heat is generated from the flex in the sidewall from the tire being low. So as that every revolution, as that's spinning around, those steel cords in those sidewalls, it's just like rubbing your hands together. Sooner or later, they get so hot enough you can't hold them together and they blow, right? So that's the deal there.
Coolant and washer fluid. I recommend that you get yourself some coolant and washer fluid for your truck. Again, driving for 350 to 400 miles a day, we're burning through coolant and you're going to be low and not have any in your truck. Again, this is easily missed on a pre-trip. Drivers just open the hood and check the oil, but not the coolant, and could have seen that they are very low. These are just some ways to avoid any breakdown. Now, some of you may already know, but now that we're almost done with winter, we have to stay focused on the road. This is a time when a lot of cars are speeding, impatient, and reckless. Last year, I remember there's been a few times at I-25 in Santa Fe to Firestone with at least 5 accidents in a round. Highway 85, there were at least 3 to 5 a week, and at least one of those 3 to 5, a truck driver was involved. Fair play last year, I don't think a JFW driver had an accident, but we witnessed some accidents and came pretty close to having one. This is where it really gets good. Well, another thing I wanted to bring up is that please stay hydrated. Coffee is great and keeps you up, but you're going to need to drink water as well. It's going to be very long days and a long week. Please drink water, get out, and stretch your body from time to time. So for me, I like to look at this as a preseason of a sport. We all got the taste of how we're supposed to do things the JFW way, and now it's time for the actual season, and we all got to be on our game if we want to win. And by win, I mean making a lot of money and getting a safety bonus. And finally, there's one more thing I want to say. This is going to drain some of us physically and mentally. For some, this might affect your family. Last year, it almost happened to me. I almost left JFW because I felt like I wasn't doing my job as a father and a husband. I was doing early loads every day and working every Saturday so that I can give my family the best life they deserve. That is what I tell myself every day when I'm in my truck. If anyone is going through that right now or in the future, you feel like you're not giving your all, or someone telling you that you choose your job over your family and you believe that you don't, talk to me because I've been there and I know how it feels for someone to say that I'm never home and always working. And thanks to Jam and JR for being there and talking to me on my darkest days. I wouldn't be here today if I didn't talk to them at that moment. Reach out to them. Anyone in that office will sit down and talk to you. It's going to get harder the next couple months. Hopefully no one goes through that here this spring or summer, but if you are, please reach out and talk to any of us. Let's all be safe, work together, stay communicated with each other, and let's kick ass this season.
That was awesome.
That was awesome.
Yeah,
That was
thank you very
great.
much.
Yep. Good job, Armando.
Yep.
First one was a win, man.
Yep. Home run. Yeah, I love that. Just kind of like I was saying earlier, this week we took a couple shots, and to hear Valentino tell us what JFW means to him, and Armando, a 2-year veteran, to talk about what he's learned and what JFW means to him. It's great.
Mhm.
And yeah, mental health is important, is kind of what I'm going to categorize this last part. If you're having some struggles, talk to us. That's what we're here for.
Mhm.
And Armando, one of your peers is willing to listen. He's listening to me. When somebody comes talk to me, I tell him, hey, me too. I got this going on. And, for someone to be down, but to be able to speak life into you, I mean, that's special.
Right?
So, Super Dave is going to be a hard act to follow, but you want to hit us with that high road hauling?
Sure. Switching gears, actually,
Yay.
because this is just all about the spring season.
Was it a downshift or upshift?
I don't know.
Jake Brake or freewheel?
I guess it would be a downshift.
Big hill coming, right?
See, now they're doing it to you.
That's okay.
18 speed?
Comes
13
around,
speed,
goes around.
10 speed?
I wish you guys could be serious for once in your lives.
Spring is the season of new growth and change. I think I'll get a haircut. Right?
Yeah.
A wonderful time to experience Mother Nature at her best. With the warmer weather, new life is everywhere. Animals and plants alike are starting over again. After a long winter's rest, the world around us begins the slow and miraculous rebirth. After all, if flowers can push through the frosty ground, we can flourish too. So let's explore why spring can be so good for our health and happiness. Spring helps us feel happier and energized, partly because the increased daylight and warmer temperatures encourage hormonal changes that help boost our mood and energy. Studies show that when it's darker outside in winter, our bodies produce more of the sleep hormone melatonin, which causes us to feel more lethargic. When the days start to brighten in the spring, the light suppresses our melatonin production, which helps us feel more alert and energized. Spring also infuses hope into people. Hope and optimism are fundamental to our well-being. Not only do they make life more enjoyable, but experts say they provide physiological resilience against things like stress, anxiety, depression, and post-traumatic stress disorder. People with an optimistic outlook on life also have been found to be ill less often, recover from any illness more quickly than others, and live longer. Perhaps this is what prompted the philosopher Bern Williams to say, the day the Lord created hope was probably the same day he created spring. There are things that we tend to do with all the newfound energy and optimism in the spring, and some other things that, are just meant to be celebrated in the spring. So I've got a list here. Number 1, Mother's Day. Always on the second Sunday in May, we get to celebrate our moms. They blessed us with life, and what more logical time of year to celebrate them? And the clocks change. Hey, that oven clock that's been an hour fast since October is finally right. That made me laugh so hard. and Jackie and I, we go through and change every single clock. We're meticulous about it, but that is just too funny. Refreshing April showers. Without them, we wouldn't have green grass, flowers, and the budding trees. But doesn't it seem like Mother Nature is washing away the dirt and grime that built up during the winter and leaving everything fresh and clean again? It's just wonderful to get outdoors without 3 layers and to smell the freshness in the air. And of course, spring cleaning. Spring cleaning shouldn't be just for the house or the garage. Get outside and enjoy some sports and hobbies and activities to cleanse your mind. And travel. Spring is a great time to take a short trip or plan a long one. Easter. Easter is a great time to spend with your family, and seeing the look on your children's faces when they realize the Easter Bunny paid them a visit is nothing short of priceless. Kids getting out of school. Spring is the official start to the summer vacation. And it's also time to plant a garden. Get that green thumb out and plant. Watch the literal fruits of your labor grow and thrive. And last, take a step back to reflect. How is this year going so far? What about those resolutions? Are there any adjustments you want to make before the year gets away from you? And before you know it, fall will be back and the year's plans can slip away. Make the most of your spring energy and pave the way for everything you want to accomplish in the coming year. And the quote this week, I love it. Behold, my friends, the spring has come. The earth has gladly received the embraces of the sun, and we shall soon see the results of its love. Spoken by Sitting Bull.
Wow.
Isn't that cool?
Wow.
That's awesome, Dave.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Spring is really, really, I don't know, one of my favorite seasons. I mean, I love them all, really. But spring is just, I don't know, makes you feel good inside, doesn't it?
Yeah, because it seems like it happens when you just can't take it.
You are
just like done with it, right?
over
Done with
winter,
winter.
you're
And then
just
there's
like,
there's that smell and the rain and the leaves and the
Right.
grass, and you're like, man, it's like the chorus in the the big music production just started,
Yeah.
and here you go. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been happier driving home in the daylight.
Yes, Jam, that's
Right?
the only thing we know, the first week, and I don't know, we left a little bit earlier, Jam, was that the sun was just, it's blaring in your windshield.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that time of year.
Final thoughts, everybody?
I just have 2 I want to read, and I don't know if they're their final thought. They're just a couple of rules. Actually, Erica gave them to me. I was struggling for something with this week, but flipping burgers is not beneath your dignity. Your grandparents had a different word for burger flipping. They called it opportunity.
Ooh.
Thanks, Grammy.
Ooh, I love that.
Right? And the next one here, before you were born, your parents weren't as boring as they are now. They got that way from paying your bills, cleaning your clothes, and listening to you talk about how cool you are. So before you save the rainforest from the parasites of your parents' generation, try delousing the closet in your own room.
Dang.
Bam.
Huh.
Well, I've got one just because we've talked about money so much, and
Money,
I guess this one's
money.
kind of maybe the value of it. And
Stop, Dave. Don't talk about money.
I stole it. It was a
Stole the money.
meme or TikTok, whatever you want to. I'm
You
sure it was
stole
on
money?
TikTok, even though it wasn't on there. No, I didn't steal any money. And I'm sure I'll massacre it as I do many of these things, but I'll give you my best analogy of it. But a dad goes to his 10-year-old son and he goes, "Son, you need to get a job. I want you to make $10 tomorrow." And the dad comes home the next day and son didn't do it. He's like, "Dude, get your ass out there and get a job and make $10 tomorrow. And I'll check with you when I get home." So the son goes to his mom and is like, "Mom, Dad wants me to get a job. I'm 10 years old. What do you want me out there on the streets hustling for money or something?" And she's like, "No." And she gives him $10. The dad gets home and says, "Did you earn $10 today?" He goes, "Yeah, Mom gave me $10. He takes it and throws it in the fireplace and burns it. And the kid's like, what are you doing? And he's like, tomorrow you need to get a job. Go earn $10. So the next day he goes out and he starts calling on family members, and he goes to his uncle and he's like, Uncle, my dad wants me to get a job, and I need to earn $10. And the uncle just gives him $10. And so the dad gets home that night and says, did you earn $10? He's like, yeah, my uncle gave me $10. He grabs it and he throws it in the fireplace and he burns it. And he's like, damn, Dad is serious, So, of course, next day, kid goes out and he goes everywhere looking for a job, asking people to do things, this, that, and the other. And he's knocking on doors, begging for money, and he collects a little bit of money from this person, a little bit of money from this person, and he's just begging for money. And Dad gets home and says, did you earn $10? He's like, no, but I got like $5, and he's like, well, how'd you earn it? And he's like, well, I went door to door asking for money. And Dad takes the money, throws it in the fireplace, burns it. The kid's like, I'm working my ass off for this money that people are giving me. And the dad's like, you need to get a job. Go get a job. So the next day, kid goes out and he's like, Dad's on my ass. I got to get a job. He goes everywhere to try and find a job as a 10-year-old. And finally he finds this old man, and the old man says, listen, I'll pay you 10 cents a sandbag if you move him from there to there. And the kid worked till 10 o'clock that night, comes home. The dad says, all right, son, did you earn my $10? And the kid's like, no, Dad, but I worked till 10 o'clock. He said, I worked 8 hours today. And he said, I earned $1.80. And the dad says, let me see it. And he hands him the money and he throws it in the fireplace. The kid jumps up, pulls the money out of the fireplace. The dad stands up and hugs him and says, congratulations, you understand the value of money now.
That's awesome.
And it's the difference between earning it yourself and it being given to you. And there's a lot in life to be said about that.
Mm-hmm.
And the video that I watched puts a political spin on it, and I'm not going to go there. Right? Shocker.
Are you sick? You got a fever?
I know. I think I do.
But the thing is about that, Dave, is he jumped up and was willing to go in the fire for the hard-worked things
that he had done.
He
had achieved that money, because that money didn't mean a damn thing to him when somebody gave it to him. He just watched it burn.
No.
When it was his money, he wanted that money.
I mean, because all of us here have stepped right in the fire.
Absolutely.
For everything we've earned.
Absolutely. So a lot better when you earn it rather than it just being handed to you. There's a different value to it, and it feels good.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Amen. I like it.
Yeah.
Any other final thoughts from you, Soup?
I'm just going to go out and enjoy every day for the next, hopefully, 25 years.
Awesome.
I agree.
That's a good one, Dave.
I'm
25 Springs. Sorry, Jam. Didn't you?
Yep.
No, you're
There
good.
you go, Jim.
I'm going to play the audio from a video I shared with you guys.
You that don't know me, I'm Marshall Falk. I don't want to get into stats. If you want those on Google, check me out. I knew that was going to get you. No, for real. Here's what I want you to understand. And this goes for everybody, including the running back room. All right? How you do one thing is how you do everything. Think about that. How you do one thing is how you do everything. If you slack off in school, then at some point in time, the guy to your left, the guy to your right, the guy in front of you, the guy behind you, they can't count on you because you're going to slack off. How you do one thing is how you do everything. So I'm going to be real brief and say this to you. What we want from you, it requires no talent. Effort requires no talent. Hustle requires no talent. You don't have to be the fastest. You don't have to be the strongest. You don't have to be the smartest to give effort. It requires no talent. If you give effort, watch what it brings to you. Thank you.
It's a good one, Jam.
It's my final thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a couple more videos, Jam, that I've seen on talking about recruiting the no talent people, or the people that it doesn't take any talent to show up on time, do your job, do it well. I mean, not the well part, but just to be there takes no talent.
Yeah.
You don't need any special skill to be a superstar.
Nope.
Coming in every day isn't talent.
Yeah.
Being here on time every day isn't talent.
Having a good attitude isn't talent.
Nope.
Giving your very best is not a
Isn't
talent.
Right. No.
Yeah, that's character.
Yep.
So, all right, everybody, don't forget to go back and listen to episode 72. Tell Find Amber's mom. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the Channel 23 podcast and hit that follow button. Let's say the creed and get on out.
Sounds great.
Together we face and overcome all that stands before us. Together we are accident free. Together we joyfully create honest value for those we serve. Together we celebrate our differences and respect those with whom we work.
Together we are accountable for our words and our actions. Together we are the JFW family.
Woohoo! Have a great week, everybody. Safe. Stop.
I see those big, bright, shiny red trucks just a trucking down the road. Those big, bright, shiny red trucks just a looking for another load. Well, it's a family tradition, any Rocky Mountain day. Our fathers before us showed us the way. We work for asphalt cowboys and concrete kings, but that's never been a problem, 'cause we got diesel in our veins. We've got diesel in our veins. I see those big, bright, shiny red trucks just a trucking down the road. Those big, bright, shiny red trucks just looking for another load. I hear there's a couple million tons to move. I see them everywhere. So you best get out their way and watch that sand and gravel disappear. There's another run to make. We gotta get it there on time. And we got what it takes to lay it all out on the line. We'll lay it all out on the line. I see those big, bright, shiny red trucks just a trucking down the road. Those big, bright, shiny red trucks just looking for another load. Those big, bright, shiny red trucks got the best drivers in town. They got all the tools they need to keep that hammer down. When they hit them scales, they won't need to dodge them, won't need to duck them. They just keep that hammer down, and they keep that diesel trucking. Keep that hammer down, and keep that diesel trucking. I see those big, bright, shiny red trucks just a trucking down the road. Those big, bright, shiny red trucks just a looking for another load. They just keep them doors closed, keep them butts in their seats, 'cause those customers are calling, and those red trucks can't be beat. They've gotta put the hammer down and pick up another load. Get it off the ground, keep them eyes open and on the road. Keep them eyes open on the road. I see those big, bright, shiny red trucks just a trucking down the road. Those big, bright, shiny red trucks just looking for another load. Breaker 23, anybody got a copy on that Channel 23 podcast? Welcome, and thanks for listening.